Okay. Can anyone hear me? Hello, hello. Great. I guess I don't need to type it. How are you, Irene? Lovely, lovely. Oh, I am fantastic. Fantastic. I'm excited about this. I'm glad we could be a part of it. I
Hello.
do.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm joining with video and audio. Yeah,
excellent.
just checking
Excellent.
in. Yeah.
Great. So how do I share slides?
So if you look at like the bottom part, there are four
Yep.
buttons, and the third
Yep.
one is share screen.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I might, can I try it right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Let me pull that up and share screen. Your entire screen. We'll just share the application. Okay. Can you see?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay.
It's perfect.
Lovely. Lovely. Well, give it a dry run. So I see that you've got me down from like 12:30 to 1:15.
Yeah, 1:15. Yeah, it's a 45-minute time slot.
Perfect. No, that's fine. If you gave me 3 hours, I could probably talk that long, but I'll try not to make it too brutal. Do we take questions or how does that
You
go?
can. So there can be at most 9 people who can share their audio and video at the same time.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can ask the participants to like turn on their camera and audio to like ask questions and like just talk, or you can just like create a poll on the chat or like just chat with them.
Perfect. Perfect. Oh, now, so explain the poll thing.
Okay, so like right next to the polls, like you can
Yeah.
like create there's like a create a poll button. So you can if you type it, you can like type questions and then create questions.
I see the polls, but I don't see where it says create a polls. I see chat polls. I click on that.
Well, I can share my screen.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be easier.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't think it's a good idea to share a screen with a video on because like last time when I tried it, it kind of like zoomed in a lot, like double mirror thing. Yeah, but
Yeah,
there's like I can create one for you, or maybe I can.
sure.
Yeah.
Now I tell you what, I won't be able to see the chat and whatnot while I'm presenting, will I?
Yes, that's true.
But like you said,
Yeah.
folks can turn on their audio and
Yes.
jump in during it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, I'll take questions at the end. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
So I
either
think
way.
what you can do is like just let the participants know that they can turn on their camera and audio and ask questions. And just let them know like after asking the questions, they should like probably turn off their camera and audio so that other people like who have questions can join and ask questions because we can only have at most 9 people at a time.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That makes sense. No, that's great. All right, so I don't know. Sounds like polls. I'm not sure how to do polls. Did you figure that out?
Well, I like there's like a clear like create a poll button like on my side, but yeah. I
So there, okay, there's a poll button if I go to the event. If I'm like, you can create them, but when I go to the session, I don't see
oh
anything.
let me
Hmm. Okay.
okay. Hmm. Oh, I can increase the size of maximum participant. So I'll try to like fix it to like 25. And
I don't think it's the end of the world.
yeah.
I don't think there's going to be thousands of people wanting to hear about how we do mangoes or something. So I don't think it's going to get too hairy here. But yeah, that's all right. So yeah, okay. It's all right. People can ask questions in the chat,
Okay.
and when I'm not presenting, I'll go over that, and or they can hop on with their audio.
Yeah, I think that's great. But yeah, just
Sounds
for
great.
reference, I can send you like a screenshot of like what I see in the sponsors internal in Discord.
Yeah. Sounds great. Sounds great. So I'm in Discord.
Yeah.
And is there a specific zone for this presentation in Discord?
No, we don't have a specific channel for this.
Okay.
Yeah, what we have is just like sponsors channel and other like mentorship. But I can
Okay.
certainly like make an
All right.
announcement that
Nope, that's
we're
fine.
hosting this right now. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
Hey, Paul.
Sounds good. Hey, Vivek. How are you?
Good luck. So, did you check out how to
yeah.
share the screen and everything?
Yeah. Yep, we're good to go.
I'm going to be recording.
We're as good as we're going to be.
Hey, Irene, are you guys recording it or what?
Yeah, we are recording, but if you don't want to share it, like I can turn off the recording.
No. Let's do the recording. I want to get a copy.
Oh, okay.
Ed
Yeah.
definitely wants to look at it. Okay.
Yeah. Good morning. Good afternoon, actually, guys.
Hey, Maxim.
Hey, Maxim. How are
I'm
you?
doing great. I was backstage, but I think we had a little bit of miscommunication. So this is the actual session that the workshop will be held at, which is completely fine. And yeah, super excited for it.
Sounds great. Yeah, I saw in the email it said we don't have a backstage, so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, we lost something in translation. Then yeah, no worries.
It's all good. Hey, we're in. I know how to share, so
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Hey,
it's going to happen.
I want to introduce you and take a picture. Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Cool.
I've never had a picture taken over my laptop's camera.
Awesome. I'm gonna
That's
go.
great.
I'm gonna go share and promote a little bit more. We already have some people starting to come in for the workshop, but
Great.
Yeah, best of luck. I know
Hey,
it's gonna be great.
Max. Yeah, one question. We were looking at under polls. I don't have anything. I don't necessarily have anything to put a poll out there for, but
Yeah, I mean, we can put up after that. Have you heard of Emerson? Did you like the the workshop? And
yeah.
couple of, if you have any things, let me know. We can post it.
Yeah, if you'd like to create one, definitely. And you can also, you can ask participants to join you on the Discord server after the workshop or at the expo, at your expo booth, because that's still available as well. Whatever you guys want to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. Either way, and they can put questions in chat, or like Irene was suggesting, just hop on and ask the question. Turn on their audio and ask a question. So either way.
Great.
Or the chat or whatever. Yep. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Whatever.
I'll be watching, and yeah, have fun.
All right.
All right.
And
Sounds
definitely,
great.
definitely want a recorded version. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Cool.
Great. I think we're recording right now.
Yes, we are. Also, like we made an announcement on Discord, so I feel like people will be joining pretty soon. So
Sounds great.
I'll leave it up to you guys. So have fun, and I hope you have a great time.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So we're going to start, I guess, promptly at 12:30.
Yep.
Are you starting us off, Vivek?
No. You kick it off.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were wanting to do an intro or something.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Give it a few more minutes. Hello. I am Paul from Emerson. Right. Yeah, the one in 3 minutes here. I think I'm on it now, correct? Yeah, I think so. Am I in the session? Okay, excellent. Yeah, make sure I'm in the right place. Oh, doing very well. Who is this, by the way? Okay. Oh, great. Well, nice to meet you. Okay, great. All right, no, I think I'm good. I know how to share the slides here, so I think we're ready to roll. You want me to go ahead and just start right at 12:30? Sounds great. Fun fact, mango is the national fruit of India, Pakistan, and the Philippines. I did not know that. That is incredible. Well, thank you for sharing that little fact there. I did not know there were even mangoes in India. That's how.
Yeah, mango is India is the largest exporter of mango in the world.
Is it really? I'm surprised every time I hear something like that. It blows my mind. You know where blueberries tend to come from, Vivek? A lot of blueberries come from the southern tip of South America.
Wow.
Way down there. Yeah. And we ship them way up here.
I did not know that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm always blown away where all these things come from. And most fruits come from, here we go, fun facts as we're getting started. Most fruits have a northern hemispheric source and a southern hemispheric source, so we can have it twice a year. And we store it fresh so that we can sort of extend it, and we have these fruits virtually all year. So fun times. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start by, I'm going to introduce myself in the slides. My name is Paul Fullenkamp from Emerson, but I'm going to go ahead and share some slides because it's in my slides. Application window, of course, doesn't want to show. Okay, I'll just share the whole screen. I'll share the whole screen because it doesn't want to find my. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep, we do.
Lovely. Well, I am Paul Fullenkamp from Emerson, and I will be talking more about what Emerson, what kind of company Emerson is, just give a brief overview, but I'm not going to go too in-depth in it so I don't make anyone fall asleep. I know this is one of the first presentations of the whole hackathon, so I hope this gives context to how data science and data analytics can impact the real world. the real things that we are involved in every day, and data science is heavily involved in them. So we picked a specific example of keeping mangoes fresh across the ocean. And this similar example works for many other things, but in this case, we're talking about mangoes. So who am I? I am 38 years old. I've been with Emerson a decade now. I've been in various roles. I've been married to my lovely wife 14 years. We have 5 children, and I live in a small town in Ohio. And I'm literally in my basement in a small town in Ohio right now. So the wonders of technology, that we can all be talking to each other. I'm a competitive trap shooter, and I do a lot of leather craft. And I have engineering degrees. And it was actually while I was getting my master's degree in engineering that I worked with a professor at their University of Dayton who had a PhD in statistics. And she taught us the basics of, well, how to code in Python, some of the basic fundamental underlying math behind, your random forests and regression and, the various model types. And so we were excited about it. When I say we, myself and some folks in engineering. And so one of the things I'm most proud of is helping start the data science team at Emerson in Sydney. And so really that's what led to a number of these insights I'm going to talk about today. So what's Emerson? So first of all, we do not make the cheesy TVs that you see at Walmart. No, we are not a TV company. Emerson was founded in 1890, and our home base is in St. Louis, Missouri. We're about an $18 billion company. We have 88,000 employees roughly all over the world. India, China, South America, a number of places in the United States and Europe. And so we're all over. So big company. And it even says 20,000 active patents. And a number of those are in data-related topics. So I don't want to bore you to tears, but it's a big company, one that tends to work behind the scenes, one you've probably never heard of. And I love how this is pictured in our company, because that top picture there, it says automation solutions, but that's a port. And actually, our side of the business, commercial and residential solutions, we work with shipping lines, and that's what you're going to see today. You're going to see how we impact the shipping industry, primarily how Emerson helps keep food fresh. So, and that's just, honestly, it's just a piece of what we do, but I hope it gives context to how data and data analytics can really have a massive impact on everyday life. And I mean, all over the world, everyday life for all kinds of people. And I mentioned I was in commercial and residential solutions. This is a little snapshot of commercial and residential solutions. $6 billion in sales, 27,000 employees, customers like Amazon and Ferguson and Home Depot. And so United Refrigeration, United Technologies. Big company names. We've got a lot of fantastic customers, and there's so many more that aren't there, but we're really proud to be a part of these businesses, but we tend to be the guy behind the guy. You're not going to see our products on a lot of things at Home Depot. I don't know if it's at Home Depot, but we do have thermostats that are in some of these big box stores. But most of the time you won't see our products. We're usually behind the scenes helping make things work. And this is a perfect example of that, the example I'm going to share today. So I wanted to show this slide, this image, because it gives a sense of all the things Emerson does, and it's going to lead us into what I'm going to talk about today. How does this involve data analytics? Because you know what? If you look at this slide, you see a lot of hardware, a lot of things. And this Hacklytics conference isn't about things. Well, so look at the bottom. We make compressors. In fact, I sort of came up through compressor development. I helped develop a number of the compressors that are in grocery stores, or the compressors that help keep these marine container units, these big container ships with all these containers stacked up. I developed some of the compressors that help keep, the mangoes cool throughout that voyage. So I've been lucky enough to have my hands in a number of pieces of things, but you can see we make condensing units. So if you've ever, been in a walk-in refrigerator, seen it at a grocery store or something, or some of these, these beer fridges you walk in, beer caves, that might have our compressors keeping that cool. Also, we have a number of trackers and loggers, data acquisition things. So, if you want to work with data, you got to have a way to get the data. So we make a lot of those. And, controllers. Just running some refrigerator or a freezer is, it's important to control it well, so that I don't freeze my mangoes and destroy them. I don't freeze my grapes. I don't want to freeze my iPhone if I'm shipping an iPhone, but I do want to keep the humidity out of it, that container. I don't want to freeze my makeup, but I want to make sure it doesn't get too hot. And, you'd be amazed at the goods that we tend to refrigerate, because I can't have makeup in a big, metal box crossing the ocean. If it's 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside, I can't have that heating up. So there's so many applications. You can see, let's see, case controllers. We do control, we do building control. We do insights, we do grinders for your sink and sinkerator. If anybody has a garbage disposal, we make a lot of those. And at the very top of this pyramid, data management. That is where I am involved. And so, the business unit that we have that is really sponsoring this in Atlanta, we are involved in this data acquisition of these refrigerated systems, so we can monitor them and help protect the food at your grocery store, in the truck and trailer, which is delivering it to the grocery store, in the container unit that's bringing it from Africa, India, South America, to wherever you are. Maybe it's taking it from Africa to Europe, from Africa to India, from South America to the United States, from Mexico to Florida, from Florida to Hawaii. I don't know. All over the world. But we need to ensure that the product stays healthy. So we help by offering the data and additional insights. And I'm going to talk about why insights. So if you're here for the Hacklytics Expo, you might be interested in analytics from a pure insight basis. How can I just take my data and put it in a way that tells a story that offers the user insights? You might be here because you're interested in data science. And there might be 10 different words for these things. These are just mine. Data science, I might be able to take an algorithm and offer a new data point, which tells us something new that we didn't see before. In our case, we try to do something called system health. And let me run through that. Oh, here's a quick background on ProAct. ProAct really serves, you see the market served, that's where I really want to touch on. Food retail, meaning your grocery stores. So how do we make sure that lettuce in this picture, is healthy? Well, first of all, you got to know what temperature it's at. So, and if it's drifting off that temperature, somebody's got to take action. So we can't do everything, but we do a lot. And it starts with data. It starts with data. And then we work with customers and user support to help make sure that, we can do everything in our power to keep this produce healthy. And there's a great, and also I'll finish this, but there's a great stat on the next slide I think you'll be interested in. Food service, your restaurants, and transportation as it's going to and from in between. So if you look at the top of this chart, in fact, I looked this up again in the FDA because I wanted to see, these numbers still true because, you make slides and they last for years. Food waste, about a third of all food produced is spoiled and is thrown away. And that might be right there at the farm. That might be by trucks that got too warm. That might be by, all the steps in between. It might be from your refrigerator itself. You just didn't eat it in time. You had to throw it away. A third of all the food in the world. If we want to attack big problems like world hunger, that's a huge number. That's incredible, the amount of food that goes to waste. So what a place to start. And food safety. 1 out of 6 people contact a foodborne illness each year. They might not get incredibly sick. They might get incredibly sick somewhere in between. Who knows? But the fact that we're seeing food safety issues, food waste, it seems like it's every other year we're hearing a story about they had to recall this thing or that thing or found out. And it's not always because of temperature, but surely in terms of keeping food safe, seeing that, ensuring that temperature is on point as much as we can by doing our part, that's a huge step in that direction. And without boring you to death with this, I want you to see in the middle there, we have our vision. And our vision is, we see a future where food shipped from farm to fork arrives safely and sustainably. And that's kind of a fun example there in the middle with a banana, how it goes from, the banana farms, the trees, to, maybe a factory or some place where it's prepared. It doesn't have to be bananas. It could be grapes. It could be mangoes, like we're going to talk about. Then it's put on a boat or a ship in a container, shipped across seas. It goes to a distribution center. And then from that distribution center, it's sent all over creation. And Emerson has all kinds of pieces in this whole chain: compression controls, temperature management, cargo trackers, insights and services. And this is not a sales spiel so much as it's okay selling equipment, but we want to go to the next level. We want to offer something more. How can you, as a data person, get involved in a Mango or an iPhone or I've seen all the weirdest things, makeup delivery or whatever. Maybe you love, I don't know, beets. I want to make sure the beets get there on time. I want to make sure my flowers get there and they're fresh. You can be involved in that. And I'm going to give an example of how we're involved. So Emerson helps track marine container ships, and they can have thousands of these containers on the ship. And you can see in the pretty schematic in the top left, we have a container kind of cross-section, and they're filling it with these goods, and it's not impossible for these goods to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, because they can pack a lot of stuff, whatever it is, product in here, and ship it all over the world. And we have compressors that are helping keep those things cold, and we have our data acquisition, which is helping pull that data, and our data insights helping tell more of a story. So let's get to it. Okay, a lot of setup. So wake up, everybody wake up. We're going to talk about the Mango path. So you can see, hopefully you can see my little gray map in the background and the path mangoes could potentially take. I literally just found about 3 more locations that have mangoes as we were getting ready for this talk here, but I know they will come from Africa quite often. And so if a mango were to get on a ship or be loaded on a ship, a lot of times it's taken off of the tree, or in grapes case, the vine, or bananas, the tree, or, it could be nuts, it could be fish. Most of the time, whatever's being shipped is harvested, it's chilled, or sometimes it's put right on the container. It is from wherever it's harvested. These mangoes are pulled off the trees. Honestly, I don't know if mangoes come off a tree or a bush. Somebody comment, put in the comments, do mangoes come from a tree or a bush? I feel like it's a tree, but I don't know. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about keeping them cold. So they're put in a container, driven on a truck. In that same container, they're driven to, I'm pointing like you guys can see me point at my screen. Sorry. They're taken from that container on a truck to the shipping yard, and it might be a few days. They're put on a ship and they are sent to their destination. And so I'm going to give you a sense of how can we use data science and more advanced data analytics to do more with that. So here is an image you would see if you're tracking data. And this is a container, and this is a container's refrigeration data. And I didn't list all the sensors because, frankly, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I get 3 sensors from a container sending me data. Sometimes I get 50, give or take. But it doesn't matter, because the point is, if you look at that data, what does that mean? This is a year's worth of data. You can see January to December on the x-axis. What does that mean? Well, I see it going up and down. You know what? You might be able to even pick out the seasons if you look at that. But it's messy. It's messy. And maybe if you were a professional, if you're watching this and you're like, I'm a professional HVAC person, heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration, I know all about this. I could read these sensors and read the tea leaves and start to interpret what's going on here. Well, that's okay, but we don't have a lot of those people readily looking at this data. Not to mention, Emerson has monitored over 1 million marine containers in the decade plus that we have been doing this. And we monitor thousands of stores and restaurants. And how are we going to get people to look at this data? That is where data science and data analytics can come in and take us to the next level. So Emerson, with our data science team, has developed something we like to call health check. In fact, I got it on my, I don't know if you can see that. I got it on my shirt or my pullover, because it's awesome. And we get, anyways, I'm very proud of it. So I got a shirt. I know what a nerdy thing to do, right? I'm sorry.
There's a question about the y-axis on this chart here. What's the y-axis?
Yeah, thank you. So I apologize, and thank you for sharing that, because I cannot see the chat right now. All I see is my slide. Yeah, the y-axis is temperatures and pressures and power a lot of times. So if you think of a typical mechanical device, a lot of times we pull temperatures, pressures, whether it's an oil field, whether it's refrigeration, whether it's, in this case, what's really important is temperature when you're talking about fresh goods, but it can be power and other things too. And the reason that is important in this scenario is because if the equipment is failing, I can understand and act even sooner been waiting for the temperature to get too warm for the produce. So thank you for interjecting and mentioning that question, because I can't see the chat right now. Please, and please do so in the future. I apologize. I'm kind of moving through this, but please interject if you want to turn your audio on and interrupt me and ask a question. Please do. I'd love it if this was a dialogue. So don't be afraid to speak up. And I did not. I also, as a note, I'm glad you asked about the y-axis, but I did not want to include that because sometimes when we spend, I didn't want this to become an event of interpreting a chart so much as showing how we can take this messy data. It could be, climate data, humidity and temperature and whatever for a farm in India, and we're going to help interpret that for a given question we're trying to answer. And analytics tends to come down to what are the questions being answered that aren't explicit. In this case, I see all this messy data and I want to know, how is my unit doing? Are my mangoes at the right temperature? Are they going to be okay? That's a lot of times we have customers, am I safe to put produce in this unit and ship it across the ocean? In some cases, these voyages across the ocean can take weeks. Am I comfortable with putting something in this container? They're looking at us like, how is it? And so we kind of said, well, let us give you a health for that system and try to guide you. So take this nasty mess of dots. If I told you what each one was, you'd be like, okay, I still don't know if that's okay or not. But when you overlay health on it, now we can immediately start to answer some questions. The health was bad already back in February. It was really poor, and for the record, 100% is the best. 0, it's there. If you have a 0, you've got real big problems. The health was really terrible already in February. That's not really clear to see, but that system got so bad that in late June, it just stopped working entirely. And you see a little gap of data. That gap of data was when they had people out there trying to fix it. And I have the luxury of knowing actually what happened to this unit. So, but the health, you can see there was an attempt earlier in the year to fix it, and the health rose a little bit, but it wasn't a permanent job. In fact, they fixed it again in June, July, and they didn't fix it permanently. If anyone has experience with a home air conditioner, you've had experiences where, oh, let me add charge, and then a few months later, your air conditioner is not working. Sometimes there are leaks in systems like this, and if a technician is able to find it and plug it, good to go. If not, it can continue to lead to problems. Did I hear a message come in?
Oh, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. I'm hearing sounds, and I'm like, I don't want to leave anyone hanging. Okay, excellent. So now we can give a customer all this kind of information back, 6 months, 5-6 months before it's going to ultimately have a significant failure. We can say, hey, this system needs maintenance. After the maintenance, we can say, well, it's healthy now, but it's getting worse. You need to do something about it. And you say, well, this is actually a historical look. Well, okay, Paul. Yeah, your historical looks okay, but can you really do it in the real world when things are actually happening live? I'm glad you asked that question. What a perfectly timed question. Yes, we can. And in this case, The x-axis is just your date. The y-axis is your system health, and then your set point health. The blue is system health, and the red is set point health. And the distinction is the blue is the overarching system. For instance, and the red is your set point. And as an analogy, if your car is driving down the road, I get my check engine light. Okay. If my car completely shuts down, I might get the red light. What is that, like emergency? I don't know. The really bad one, where your engine stops running altogether. That's the distinction. The blue one, your system health, it's your check engine light. The system doesn't look like it's performing well. And the red one is your system is in immediate zone of actually failing altogether. So way back in this example, way back in July, we're able to say, hey, it looks like your system's starting to perform poorly. Then about, I don't know, I can't do math live. I do math with computers. I don't do it in my head. If you do data analytics, get ready for people to say, can you do math in your head? No, it's not what we do. We do it with computers. Already on August 10th, that system really starts to fail. Now, it's not even keeping the temperature properly. And by August 18th, 8 days later, it got so bad they finally repaired it. And we were able to say, hey, you know, we could have told you back in July that this was happening. And so this was, our customer was like, oh yeah, okay, we need to use this more. This is great. We would have much rather known that instead of potentially having a I think some of these have a like a warranty thing where they, you know, it's like your shipping insurance when you ship something with UPS. Some of these container places have that, and I don't care who you are, that's no fun to deal with. So we're continuing to help these systems. I think there's one more. Yeah, here's a good one. On June 26th, in this scenario, we were able to say, you know, once again, early on, hey, you've got a problem, and then only 2 days later, it's getting very serious. But it wasn't until, you know, weeks later that the system was repaired, and that's unfortunate. And you know, you can imagine with these units going across the ocean, there's not always, you know, there's not always like a nice repair shop where I can work on them. And if I'm on the deck of a boat and it's storming outside, it's not easy for me to drag a, you know, repair part up 3 flights of steps on a boat that's, you know, rocking all over. And I mean, I'm picturing like movie scenes where there's storms. I'm sure it's not always like that, but you know, so anything we can do to give advance notice and help protect this produce, because that 1/3 number needs to go down. And Emerson's data science team and data analytics team and the data acquisition team, we're all pulling together our hardware, our, you know, software, our insights, all this data to try to offer this to customers to save all this waste. Because what a problem. And the next thing is this. This is to me one of the most exciting charts, because like I said, you can imagine, I think Maersk is the most popular, but some of these big shipping companies, they might have a boat that has, you know, 2,000 plus units are these containers on it. And they might have themselves hundreds of thousands of these refrigerated containers, and they're all over the world. You know, where are they? What's going on with them? Are they healthy? Are they not? And each one could contain, I don't know, $100,000 worth, you know, $100,000 times 250,000 units. You know, someone do the math on that. That's a lot of money. And, you know, ensuring that that cargo is protected is important. Well, so how do I, that I showed that mess of data. That was one. That's one. How do I look across all of them? Well, when we can offer a health score, we can show this to a customer every day. Look at this. Look at these really poor units. Take care of those now. Do something about those right away. And then the ones in the orange, those are next. Those are on deck, because on deck, no pun intended. It's not a shipping joke. Do something about those next. And the healthy systems, hey, pat yourself on the back. Those are doing fine. And what's beautiful is we can do this across all kinds of different systems. They can be fixed and variable speed. If you're a compressor nerd, that matters to you. Everyone else, just know it's like very different, very different. Different coils, different ages of systems, new and old, different products inside, different set points. If we're shipping electronics across, we're shipping tablets, Samsung tablets, I don't know if that's ever happened, but we want to keep moisture out for electronics, but maybe we keep it at a typical 23 degrees Celsius. If we're shipping fruit, maybe it's cool. Maybe we're shipping tuna. Tuna gets shipped at -60 degrees Fahrenheit. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It can be any of those. And we're able to offer this at a glance. And it's only because of data science and data analytics. So I am not getting into the weeds of how all that was built behind the scenes. A, because we have intellectual property and I don't want to teach the world how to do it. And B, because it might bore half of you to tears. But one thing I will say is, don't think that we are rocket scientists. We are not exceptionally brilliant. In fact, the bulk of people who are participating in this Hacklytics event are probably far more intelligent than me. It's about understanding the questions that are being asked about our data and spending time understanding what the data is telling us so that we can answer a question that is not readily available. It is not evident in the data. We're going a level deeper. And so that's what we want to do to help protect food. But that's what you can do for your application. Maybe we're cleaning water in Uganda. I don't know. Whatever application you have, data can be applied so many ways. And believe me, I tell people, oh, what do you do? I do data analytics for compressors. And they're asleep before I'm done speaking. It sounds really boring, but the impact it can have globally is massive. It's so big. So that is my last slide. I want to give folks an opportunity to, here we go. I want to give folks an opportunity to go ahead and ask any questions you might have. Any thoughts? You can either turn on your audio and just ask me. You can put it in the chat box, but please go ahead, speak up. And yeah, I'm sorry if I didn't explain something right. Ask me about. I'm sorry. Sometimes when you're a nerd, you get into the content and you know it so well. So
Hey Paul, it was awesome. Actually, there are a couple of questions both in the chat here as well as in the Discord. I'll ask one of them that I see. So I don't know how much this goes into your IP and what you can actually talk about, but somebody asked what metrics were used and why to create the health score.
Yeah. So what metrics? I'll say this is, one thing that I learned right away, and I think it is completely helpful, is starting with understanding the data. And if I told you about our specific application, it wouldn't be that exciting so much, but let me give you a sense of how something like this works, because they do it now on jet engines. So you could look it up on jet engines. In fact, Emerson helps with turbines. So just another plug. I keep plugging this. I'm not trying to. if you have a data set, the best thing you can do is plot it, understand it. In fact, first of all, everyone in your practices, look at the data first. Step one. I'm a manager for data science, and if they haven't looked at it and understand it, then we got to start from scratch. Understand it. The next is look at it statistically. Understand it statistically. What's its mean, standard deviation? What are your quantiles? Break it down. Break it down to the stats. You might have to do stats by hour. You might have to do stats by breaking it down by other variables. If I'm a turbine, if I've got my afterburners on, I want to make sure and take that into account. How should it behave in this scenario? How should it behave in this scenario? Something everyone should know on here is get a sense of statistical process control, which is very much just statistical characterization. What is the zone that my sensors for my turbine or my car or my your house can work this way? But what is the zone it should live in normally? When you have deviations from normal, and once again, you can do this for anything, and it's very textbook, but now if I can use deviations and add more layers of insights, that will take you to the next level, but it starts with basic understanding and characterization. So, sorry.
No, that was no, I appreciate it. I think it's like cool, especially what you're saying at the beginning with how, a third of food is basically spoiled. And it's like, how can we come up with a solution to that? Because that definitely seems like a very data heavy project.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll echo what Paul said too. If anybody else who's watching right now has a question, like they can either pop it in the chat or just there's a blue video and you can come join and ask away. I see there's one question in the chat.
Yeah, I see that. He says, when determining health score, what component has the highest weight? What I find is it is sort of dependent on application, and I want to give you an answer and not be too specific. 'Cause I'm trying to walk the line, but let me give an example. So anytime you do a regression model, you should do a variable importance. So to understand, in fact, and eliminate variables that are not important. So that goes for regression or frankly, any model. There's a lot of great information out there about eliminating nodes when building neural nets. So anytime you have garbage in your models or inputs to your models, that will make things go haywire, or it can at least add error. Furthermore, we do the same with this, with the health score, but it can change based on application. We will monitor systems that only have one temperature. What is the box temperature? I can tell them information about that. I can say what's good, what's normal, what's not normal. I can't do a lot more than that. We have scenarios where I might have a variable speed compressor speed. I might have temperatures. I might have power. So now I can dig deeper and I can tell them more. Because one thing I didn't even mention was, if I have more information, not only can I tell you when it's not healthy, but I can tell you what's wrong. We can often tell them when a system is losing refrigerant or when their variable speed compressor is not operating properly. If they're using too much power, not only could you have food spoilage, but you're using way too much energy. and you could potentially damage, or it could become dangerous to human lives. That's happened before, unfortunately. So depending on, once again, what question we're answering at the time will depend on what ends up having the highest weight. And while I try to narrow our focus to health score, a lot of times we'll answer the question of how healthy is that unit right now? Will it make a trip across the ocean? How long until it's not healthy? So if it's sick, how many days, hours, weeks, minutes do I have until it just won't even be able to operate anymore? When does that happen? When a unit starts for the very first time after a month, a year, we try to tell them if it will make the journey then. And then we try to say, if it's not working, what's wrong? And frankly, you'll find that there's often many small models or many steps to building insights. You don't always you won't win the game with one home run. You got to have a lot of singles to really be effective. I hope that answers that question. And actually, let me button that up. You got to have a lot of singles, and every one of those singles, those small models, those components, they will each have different input variables that are weighted differently, and they should. The last analogy, if someone's asking you, it'd be like someone is saying, Sammy, tell me about what's the most important thing on your taxes? Well, my income. Well, what if you're getting money back? Maybe you would say then, well, if I want money back, my write-offs are the most important. Oh, okay. So it kind of depends on the question you're asking, the model you're developing, and then do your variable importance. Get rid of your garbage. Okay. Any other questions before we call it? Don't be shy.
Yeah, again, if you have any other follow-up questions about this or any other topic, visit our Emerson Discord chat, and Paul or I can either take the questions, answer, or come back to you. Okay. So the next question you have, maybe the last one, is what visualization tools you use, Paul?
Yeah. So we use we've used a number. If we are developing, if we're coding in R or Python, it's really common. We'll plot right there. We have done some in Power BI. We use Domo a lot. We really like Domo internally. Some of our apps and applications for customers have visualizations built in. Our Connect Plus platform has visualizations built in. So if I'm developing, we like to do it in the code. It's because it's right there. Good question.
Okay. Max just talked about he created a voice channel. So if you want to keep it going, we can go there. So thank you very much.
Sounds great.
Truly appreciate it. If you could hang around a little bit on the Discord, that will help us. Okay.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, folks.